So it's the ocean that quakes underneath the tsunami, 500 miles per hour. That's pretty amazing to me, 500 miles per hour, and it even struck the west coast here in the United States, but the devastation, absolutely incredible. Prayers for the dear folks there in Japan, no question about that. Also, this is what's happening to the world around us. There is a decay. This is what's happening to the earth that we know of, and Romans 8 speaks of the creation in bondage. And there's decay. As we get close to the end of days, these are the kind of events that are part of the signs of the end of days. But also coming is another tsunami, but it's not under the ocean. It's not about tectonic plates. It's not about earthquakes. It is about the dark side's designed regime change. And it involves you right now. It involves the nations that would be listening. I want to welcome you to Shatter the Darkness live broadcast. This is Russ Dizdar on a Monday night. This is March the 21st, 2011. And the hour is getting late. But that does not, for the real believer in Christ, that means seeing the face of God. Those days become closer and closer. And the end of history, well, it needs to come to an end at some point. We don't want radical evil. We don't want the wars and the death and the dying and the raping and all of the other, desecration and destruction to continue. There's a reason for the cross. It involves the return of Christ. It involves a new age of peace with Christ at the helm, and a new heaven and a new earth. So don't be sold the cubic zirconium. Don't be sold the counterfeit. It's being promoted in unprecedented ways right now. If you're listening as a New Ager, a psychic, a remote viewer, someone from that side of the fence, welcome. Glad you're here, and pray that you will give us a little bit of time to explain where we stand and why. If you are a believer in Christ, Jesu Christu, blessings to you in Him. If you're a seeker, well, we hope today will be the day that you hear the Spirit of God and the invitation of God, and listen, come to the living Christ. No one loves you more. No one wants you more. And this is what humanity needs to fix the death code, the sin code, our hell-bound direction. It's all about what God has done for us in Christ, and I hope that you know very well that presence of the living Christ inside. I'm going to do something today. I'm going to try to end 5 minutes early in this broadcast so that I can get to the word of hope out of the book of Romans all of this week. By the way, if you're new, this is Russ Dizdar, shatterthedarkness.net on the web, www.shatterthedarkness.net on the web. There on that website, you'll have the entire outline for this week. There are PDF file notes, about 6 pages, I believe, right now, one for each day. We are on Monday, the March 21st page. The theme for the week is the Black Awakening. You might have heard me talk about it. You might have purchased the book. You might have listened to the 24 hours of the seminar. The 24 hours, it's right now in a prominent place there on our website, free for anybody around the world. And we know that folks from numerous nations around the world have been downloading that 24-hour conference, seminar, and it's yours. Now, there's also the PDF file for the notes this week for the live broadcast. There's a mini-cast that gives you the overview, so I won't repeat that. It's all there on shatterthedarkness.net. Listen, as we engage this one singular supernatural hour, again, it's very possible. The possibilities of God, well, let me tell you something. We're told in Ephesians 3 that it's off the charts. Greek word, huper ek periousu, literally, immeasurably. God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or even imagine. Some of the news around the world right now is the incredible, the unrest in the Middle East. And listen, we are seeing literally fires starting in 4 or 5 of the Middle East Arab countries, Muslim nations. We are seeing tremendous regime change, desire for regime change. Who's the new regime? What's behind all of it? Pretty amazing events going around the world right now, and we need to keep our eyes on it because it does affect, well, listen, just go to the gas pump. It's going to affect you there for sure. It's going to affect you with the food. By the way, for those in Japan, we've heard that close to the ground zero nuclear plant, there are, well, they've tested the milk, they've tested vegetables, all indicating radiation. So they're wondering about radiation in the clouds coming to the West Coast. They're testing for that. So it's a crazy time. And Jesus said that, and again, listen, these are only little blips on the scale of biblical prophetic revelation and what is about to occur in our world. We're going to do with this, in the notes tonight, the defining of the Black Awakening, some questions about it, the biblical basis, and we need to take a look at that because let me tell you why I'm pressing the issue this week. I'm getting ready to go to a conference in Connecticut. It starts Friday night, Saturday. Listen, this weekend, the CSEE conference. There's still time to go, and it doesn't cost much for the conference at all. So please, with Richard Grunn being there and L.A. Marzulli being there, we've been praying that God's grace and power would impact. I would rather see just God strike with massive revival than anything else. And we trust that God's hand will be stretched out to save, to heal, to deliver. We're going to come to give our best in our part of the conference and be looking forward to some of you. I ordered some of the books from the publisher to have on hand up there because we don't carry them here. But we're going to let you know how earnestly we believe in the concept of the coming events. We have been in the incremental, evolutionary approach. The satanic plot and plan unveiled by God. It is as if God opened Satan's playbook and has given us in prophetic literature pictures of the sequence of satanic evolution. Now, as we do this week, you know what we're going to do? We are going to go over, well, let's go over the 5 nights that we're going to do this week so we can get kind of a look overall. And by the way, if you ever want to, you're more than welcome. If you believe in the benefit of these teaching and messages and feel that it should get out there, we're not high-level tech here, probably noticed that. But if you want to share it on your Facebook or put it on your Twitter, however you do it, there's a way we've learned where you can connect, send it out. Thanks to Chris White, we've put up the incredibly, striking YouTube video that Chris White from Nowhere to Run developed, and that's on the front. A lot of folks have not seen that. Though thousands have, a lot have not, and we're seeing anywhere from 70 to 120,000 hits a day, so we're hoping that many more will take a look. It's kind of like a movie trailer, the way Chris designed this. Now, that may give a hint. We'd love to see this prayed into a movie as long as it can be done accurately. I believe biblical prophecies given to us to bring great warning to the world, to bring exposure to the dark side, and we're commanded to expose it, Ephesians 5, and to use it evangelistically in that warning. And that's exactly what we'll do this week. Monday night, we're going to deal with what is it, the biblical basis, taking a look at the sense of global consciousness behind it. Somebody already emailed me. I spelled that word wrong. Doesn't matter sometimes whether I use spell check or not. You'll find here and there that's just part of life. Tuesday night, March the 22nd, we're going to deal with the issue that it's a plot, it's a plan, it's not a random event. We're not talking about something coming that you can't know about. Now, most of the world doesn't know, and it's clouded over by the counterfeit prophecy of the dark side, the 2012, the psychic predictions and the remote viewer predictions, they all lend itself to the dark side's covering up reality and masquerading what's about to occur. So they're handing you sweet candy with laced deeply with the poison of destruction. Now, Wednesday night, crying wolf, crying grace. What about crying out there saying, well, destabilization, collapse is coming, the end, crisis, catastrophic? Well, we're going to talk about crying wolf or crying grace and the urgency and alarm and whether or not the church seems to be in the dust of what's really occurring in the world around us. Now, the prophet Jeremiah was given insight by God, prophetic insight about Jerusalem because of its high sin, and we're talking about just that area, and eventually the Babylonians were coming. He spent 20 years trying to warn, offer the grace of God, lead Israel back. It never occurred. You can read the book of Lamentations. It's written after the fact. After the fact. They didn't heed the massive warning, the crying out of grace. That's part of what this book, this material, and the urgency of the hour that we've been given is to say, just as billions around the world feel in the air that critical mass, kind of a sense of, as some say, global consciousness, Webbot shows us massively in the emotional language that it's captured around the world, that there is a belief, a deep-seated belief, massive catastrophe, catastrophic collapse is coming. Now, Thursday night, we're going to deal with the powering up stage and what's behind the power of the Black Awakening, how it's being developed, and how, like a dam that will break, instead of an incremental, slow approach, the event issue is going to be off the scale. So it's beyond satanic evolution. It's part of the satanic sequence, but it's one of the first striking events. It seems to be the event that initiates us into the last 7 years of human history. Daniel, well, we'll talk about that later on. March the 25th, Friday night, we're going to talk about the ultimate goal, the 4 stages: chaos, collapse, and elimination, and then providing the world with a new regime, a new paradigm. Now, that's all plotted and planned, and it's all there on their side. We have no idea. Listen, you and I, when we hear these things, and when you hear everything this week, you're hearing the tip of the dark satanic black iceberg. We're looking at the tip of the iceberg. The bulk of this information, the bulk of this plot is still under the murky, dark waters. But enough, we have been given enough that we have the ability to bring the warning. So let me share with you, if you're someone out there that's been feeling the crisis, catastrophe, you've heard on Coast to Coast, you've heard with Webbot, you've heard from the New Agers worldwide, you've heard from the old occult writers, you heard now from 2012, those who are bringing out the information and prophecies. We're hearing it from the alienologists and the entities in the air. They're all proclaiming that a cleansing